Greetings, fans. It's Coach Blue for you, and today we're going to talk about something a little bit specific, and it's dealing with men's health. More specifically, for those in the ethnic communities throughout, that they're usually topics that are not often discussed due to, perceptions or personas of being macho or being masculine or whatnot, and often by the lack of that type of communication, it causes more challenges or issues. So we're going to talk about factors that influence, male males in today's society that are very dangerous and actually detrimental over time. So specifically, let's talk about T levels, in other words, testosterone levels. In your late teens, early 20s, the average male has about a reading of testosterone level between 6 and 900, and year after year up until the age 40, in the mid 40s or so, that testosterone T levels, I'm going to use T levels going on because testosterone is such a long word to say. Your T levels drop from what they were in your 20s, like I said, between 6, 7, 8, 900, down to the 450, just barely under 500 in your 40s. Then it keeps declining after that, 300, 200, 100s over time. So by time in your 70s, 60s, 70s, you might have T levels that have naturally digressed to levels of the barely 100 or mid 100s. So what's so special about this? This affects 30 million males in today's society versus the amount of males that are affected just say 30 years ago. So the T levels of men today, um, at say age 50, has a lower T level of almost 20 to 30% of what a T level was for that 50-year-old male was 30 years ago. There are so many factors that are within our society that we're exposed to that are designed, and it is a programmed, it's a program. It is a program by design with very specific tactics in place to decrease your testosterone, to decrease your effectiveness. When I was a kid, no one knew what ED was. I never heard of ED. Like, what is that? And why did it become so popular? If you take note and look back in history, you'll notice that it had an incline around into the late 80s, 89, 90, into the 90s, and then definitely into the 2000s until now. But you'll also see at that same time frame as the increase in ED supposedly rose, as things like Viagra and all those ED enhancers or supplements and gas station items came out to um, to counteract that. But at the same time, if you look at our industries or our society, you'll see a heavy increase of our food, our chemicals, or our surroundings, the things that we're exposed to, the levels of estrogen and other chemicals that are endocrine um, disruptors, or that are higher in estrogen, which attack the levels of T levels that we have, were on the rise. So as you saw the rise of endocrine disruptors and saw the rise of estrogen or estrogenated food being implemented or being introduced into your lifestyle, there was an even faster decrease in T levels. Remember, fall 84, spring 85, somewhere around there. Remember Church's Chicken. It's one of the few places that when you bought chicken, the chicken breast was huge back in that time. It was like, wow, what is this dinosaur breast? It looks unreal. It doesn't even look right. And then you started noticing over time chicken wings, and going from little wings that are a bite size where you can take 2 or 3 bites and it was done, to these brontosaurus chicken wings that were like huge. Like, what kind of chicken did that come from? Well, that those were the beginning stages, or well, at least what it was became more noticeable for us, for me per se, of when companies were hyper growing foods, and injecting these chemicals that were dangerous into them, so that they could get the item from uh, farm to market faster. I guess the actual time for growth from a chicken from egg to farm back in the day, would might have been 90 days or something of that nature, where with the chemical induced and the conditions that they have now, and the things they feed chickens and the injections, they can go from egg to grocery in 30 days. So you've increased the growth cycle by 2/3, by 60%, and then you've increased the meaty part of the chicken, obviously because it's more profitable. So tying this all back to T levels. So foods that are processed affect your T levels because they have chemicals. They have items that are placed inside the chemicals for preservation, to fatten or grow the animal faster, um, that are called that are estrogen enhancers, or that are have high in estrogen. Well, obviously, testosterone and estrogen work on the opposite ends of the scale. Typically, when we think of testosterone and estrogen, we think of men testosterone, women estrogen. Well, men and women both have testosterone and estrogen. Each of one of us has more of the other than the other, based off men have more testosterone than estrogen, and then women have more estrogen than testosterone. But as we find in society with men, when your estrogen level gets too high and your testosterone level gets too low, it changes things about you. It changes your attitude, it changes your demeanor, it changes your muscle mass, it changes your body structure. Gynoplasty, or men boobs, become parts of your body were that are more fatty than what they used to be. Your middle waist, maybe your hips, maybe love handles they call them, but they're just your hair loss. There are things that start to evolve because your estrogen level is too high and your testosterone level is too low. And women, when their estrogen level gets too high, higher than what it normally is, it gets out of whack. They get fibroid cysts, tumors, sometimes cancer. Just all these things happen because of these chemicals that are being induced in our processed foods are causing these huge imbalances in our body, and our body's unable to regulate it because everything we're exposed to has these endocrine disruptors in them. So your body never has a chance to cleanse itself, to be able to purge itself, and to balance itself right, because your body can regulate and align itself with whatever it's supposed to if it has the proper time. But based on that, and I'm saying you, but in society, that you eat processed food, that you're wearing clothes that are made out of polyester and not 100% cotton, that you're sleeping on sheets and pillows and blankets that are made out of polyester, that you're have uh, odor and odor enhancing fragrances around your house, to be the plugins in the wall, candles that aren't natural, um, the hair products that you're putting in your hair to wash your hair, the facial products you're putting on to wash your face, um, the clothes that you wear, just everything you're exposed to, what you drink, what you smoke, it's designed to lower your ability to reproduce on purpose. They talk about population um, control and population, decreasing the level of population. And these are designed to be subtle ways to make you less able to reproduce, less effective. That your ability to perform um, is lessened, or your ability to have healthy sperm to um, to prosper with an egg become diminished, because the sperm is not healthy. It's just so many things are out there to attack you and attack your masculinity to make you more feminine. In the case that it becomes an attacker, and it helps you be put you in a position where you're not able to reproduce, which contributes on kind of on a sly factor to world population control. And they talk about carbon. I'm stepping on it here, but I'm going to say it anyway. Carbon has nothing to do with cows and reducing the carbon levels on the face of the earth, the greenhouse effect, and all that. That cows are the effector of this, and that they're this beef aura. So we need to go things that are more electric. We need to go away from things that different types of meat outside of beef, because the gases they emit, you know, decrease from the ozone, and are detrimental, and it has a high carbon effect. Well, on the slide, and this is just Dwayne speaking, we're made of carbon. People of certain ethnicities have more carbon in them than others. So when they talk about reducing the carbon factor, they're not talking about cows. They're talking about that's who they're talking about. And by these endocrine disruptors and these lowering T levels is one way to help reduce that, to help reduce the level of carbon impact of that, the detrimental aspects of carbon, because you're not able to reproduce or create more carbon like people. So I need you to think about those things. I need you to look at your life on an overall basis. What can you do to change, to help build your T levels up, to help keep you in the healthy qualities that you were designed to be in, or to give your body a chance to help do its own natural regulation of what it needs to be. Obviously, detoxing are great options out there. Change your lifestyle, what you eat, getting away from processed foods and sugary drinks and things of that nature, anything that's chemically induced, and going back to plant-based foods and vegetables. Yeah, you even have to be careful with vegetables. They spray certain vegetables and fruits with the chemical that's used with Roundup. I believe it's called, begins with the A, but they've done studies on it, and it's where they actually tested on frogs, and male frogs. They if they tested them long enough with exposure to this chemical, atropine. No, I'm probably not right. Don't quote me on that. It changed the male frogs into female frogs. It actually changed their physically changed their reproductive organs over time. It made a male frog into a female frog. That's the chemical that they're spraying on a lot of the foods and fruits and vegetables that we eat nowadays. So please, you need to properly wash and clean them. Number one, but number two, you can buy organic or grow your own, even better. Then you don't have to worry about that, because there's some level of subjectivity when you're buying foods that are non-organic. Organic fruits and vegetables have a 4-digit code on them. Organic items have a 5-digit code on them. So always look for the little code that's on the piece of fruit or vegetable, and that tells you if it's organic or non-organic. Obviously, you want to try to go organic. If you can grow your own, grow your own. But that's just a quick tidbit on those items. So change your lifestyle, change what you're exposing yourself to. Try to buy all cotton clothes 100%, not the nylon and silk, uh, uh, polyester, all the wonderful fabrics that are mixed, because those funky underwear that you're wearing. I don't mean funky in a stinking way, but funky as far as designs. The polyester, they're slick, they're smooth. They have the wicking material or wicking aspect to them. They're close to your testicles. They're designed to lower your sperm count. So just think about what you're exposing yourself to, and start maybe looking at pieces of way that you can cut back. How you can start reducing these things, and how you can give your body a chance with some other things to help um, reintroduce getting your T levels back to where they should be based off the type of your age and your fitness level. And then there are ways to supplement your testosterone as well, and we can talk about that at another time. But I just want you to be aware of what's out there. Those of you who have children, young boys or young men, put them in regular cotton underwear. Stay away from the polyester. Stay away from the polyester clothes, shirts, and clothing, and shirts, and the foods that they eat. Quit giving them processed stuff. Start giving them natural or organic items, so that you give these young men a chance. I talk to my daughter all the time about my 4-year-old grandson. I'm like, give him a chance. Please give him a chance to be a man. Give him a chance to feed him what he needs to be fed, so he can grow into being the best young man that he can possibly be. Because the society thing, the societal impact of what it's trying to not make him be is is challenging. So watch what you feed him, watch what you expose him to, watch what they wear, watch what he wears. Don't put those funky candles in his room. Don't put the plug ups in his wall. Don't do all that, please. Give him a shot. So think about those things as well. You can do your own research. There's a lot of things you can read into, and Coach Blue's talked enough at this moment. Please like and subscribe. Catch me on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and I will catch you next week. Please gain understanding. Don't be afraid to talk about this topic as well, because it's your life. Literally, it's your life that depends on it. Peace.